Now, the main question that was on a lot of fans' minds when that happened, though, and of course that is something that as a captain, again, every time it comes back to decisions and did you make the right one, Trent? We have seen them come second at 2 majors, and even with Matu with second, with Weeha second, and this tournament so far, they're not doing too hot. Was it the right decision?
Oh, I mean, we can't really answer that, I don't think, right? Because we never know what would happen. Maybe you can assume that if they inside and internally and emotionally felt like that could even be done, as, well, someone's getting triggered. If they could even make that kick, then clearly it was the right decision, I think. Because if you've reached the point where it's even possible to pull someone off your team like that, then there must be some sort of a lack of trust or something happening there that things aren't connecting.
Tough decisions for sure. TNC has got some tough decisions to make as well. Banning Chen or hoping that you can take it. Felt like that was kind of what we took away from that game. Most of Tidehunter, of course, in there as well. As it feels like the Chinese panel is having some fun with the crowd right now. So we can hear some feedback from that as well.
It's weird. They don't rap. I mean, I would think that was the cheering.
Yeah, they were happy about that.
Yeah.
And you were kind of stunned, Blitz, after the rap segment. I thought you took an arrow.
Oh, you
5
got,
seconds.
No, it was something else. I hadn't heard anything like.
I mean, you're a hip-hop aficionado.
Yeah.
From what I understand.
It was pretty top tier, if I'm going to be honest.
Would you compare him to any particular artists?
I'm not sure. That was pretty, maybe Blueface or something like that. That was pretty unique.
I don't know who that is, but I'll take your word for it.
Top tier rapper, let me just say.
What did you think of the beatboxing? That was the most, it started out great, but ended up being pretty jarring at the end.
I simultaneously like Slacks and dislike him more, like both of them at the same time. It's like
first time I heard about beatboxing was when Roselle released couple of his songs, and this was way better. I don't know if you're into beatboxing. I've listened to it way before, but right now I still think this is one of the best segments we had.
Is Slacks the TNC both overrated and underrated? Is that what you're digging at here?
Ground rule.
I just, dude, the entire time she was asking, like, aren't they your friends? I was like, would I continue to be friends with Jake outside of Dota? It's like simultaneously, he's like one of the people I want to know the most after I'm done with Dota and the least. It's like, how am I going to introduce him to like my family? It's like, hey, this is Jake. He's like, hi, guys.
Knocks over something in the living room, breaks a lamp.
Like, is my mom going to find that endearing?
Hey, I met your mom. I think she'll be fine with that.
Well,
I think she'll take it in stride.
Okay.
She seems like a woman to just take it in stride. It's like, okay, this is who he is, and we'll go with that. Like,
I guess.
I mean, you know your mom better than I do.
Nah, she's kind. She'll like Jake for what he is. Why are you saying for what he is? But you're implying that he's
That's not what
normal?
I said. That was your words.
I'm just saying. I'm piggybacking off what
That's literally what you
What was that? Just
What?
trying to put some words in her mouth over there. Noble effort here.
He's a
on
treasure.
the fun panel.
He is.
One of a kind. We have a lot of one of a kind people in our talent group, which I'm very happy with. One of a kinds, of course, also the players on the stage fighting for a chance to survive here at the International 2019. A lot of money on the line as well. Which, by the way, these two teams don't necessarily need. They're good. They're not playing for the money. They're playing for the
You don't
prestige.
need more money in your life.
At some point, a lot of money is a lot of money.
Yes. But I know, like, for example, Liquid, everyone knows their financial situation, right? Like, they want a TI. They're good. They don't need anything.
TNC won WSG twice.
Yeah, they're all good. At this point, you just play for the pride. And the fact that TI is such a cool, unique opportunity to prove that unequivocally you are the best. Like, there are very few things or opportunities in life where, like, you can say that you're good at something, but it's really hard to prove that you're the best. TI is that opportunity. Screw the money. Like, at that point, it's great, and it's a great headline, but at this point, like, players like Kuroki, they're just playing for legacy.
Yeah, that's why some of these teams who already earned a lot of money throughout all these years of Dota, they are not under the pressure. There's new coming teams who are probably thinking sometimes in the booth, oh, I've just lost a lot of money, and you can see it on their faces.
All right, guys. It's going to be an exciting match. I want to know from you guys, I don't want to know anything from you guys, actually. I want to know more of the guys that will handle the draft. So let's head over to that right about now.
TNC Predator versus Team Liquid. Game 2.
It's about time I get the respect that I deserve. I know things. I know, Febby, you know things, and Kyle, you... Febby, I got a lot of questions for you on this next panel. We just saw a turnaround. We saw TNC basically 2-0 Liquid in the group stage. We thought that they had their number. We saw the draft. We heavily favored TNC, and somehow Liquid ended up getting a victory anyway. What the hell happened?
I underrated the troll pick, honestly. I think the troll pick, I thought at first glance, I thought it was going to be too greedy with TA. I thought he needed to be like a lighter hero, but he itemized to be that like early tempo hero, so Wraith King couldn't have the room to breathe. Because Wraith Kings are a carry that can usually fight early, but not against mana burn heroes. And Troll, he got diffuser, so he became that mana burn hero. So we saw the game just blowing out of proportion before Wraith King getting that level 20.
I think that TNC was caught off guard by the sheer amount of physical damage that Liquid's lineup could pull off. You had the Solar Crest Tide, you have Gush, I believe you're talented for it, Troll and TA with the Death, so like it's just
The
so much
third
damage.
spell too.
Yeah, that perfect. And you also have Chen, of course, giving a little bit of plus damage as well with the aura. It's so much that once you get ahead, like once they won that one fight and took the mid-racks, it's really difficult for Liquid to lose, especially when they have the team fight of a Tide Hunter to rely upon. And we saw the Ravages usually, they're hitting 2 or 3 heroes per fight easily.
Yeah, so I think I was talking about how TNC prioritizes the Earthshaker, Sand King, and the Bat Rider, and I think Tide is good against all these 3 heroes.
Yeah.
Well, what if you just straight up pick the Tide, huh? How
I think that's what they were thinking too. Yeah.
Take a page right out of the book, and they're going to first pick Tide, ended up banning out, man, they keep respect banning the Weepo. Meepo still getting first phase ban, and the Beastmaster again, like you had mentioned.
Yeah, and I think if you compare these team strengths, I feel like TNC has always been just the kings of the skirmishing. They love their guerrilla-style warfare. They're oftentimes, like, they'll make moves in separate areas of the map at once.
And what is the Korean team that we always used to reference that would have that sort of play style?
Yeah, I guess they learned a thing or two from us.
MVP Phoenix, the original, man, the Spirit Breaker days of MVP Phoenix, the Caveman Dota days, and TNC Predator, I feel, are still carrying the torch a little bit.
Yeah. Meanwhile, though, Liquid is more about that just controlled, disciplined Dota, and like they kind of just wear you down. If you're in a scenario where you don't have the ability to 5-on-5 them, it's near impossible to take them down because they're just not going to give you fights that they're behind in. And okay, yeah, for a moment there, I thought I heard Miranda. I'm like, wait, did Liquid just go ST Miranda inside? That would be good, but of course, that is going to be TNC's hero, most likely the 4 position again. We can assume. I really like the SD Lesh, however, especially against Tide.
Yeah, Lesh is just amazing against Tide. I'm a bit surprised on the Mirana pickup because I was talking to some position 4 players that played Mirana, and they said that this hero needs setup. Like, sure, he can go Atos, but this hero is like, his main strength is the early mid game. That long distance arrow, that like insane amount of damage input, but without a proper setup, it can't land his arrows. There's SD disruption to like counter gank the whatever TNC's aggressions are. And right now, TNC seems like they're gonna have trouble hitting their arrows because they have no stun.
Yeah.
That being said, it used to be very common for Mirana +1s to be roaming around constantly together. Like in the Bane Mirana days, it would always be those 2 heroes going and taking a tour from lane to lane. Whereas these days, it seems like Mirana is more content that if my mid laner has a stun, or if one of my side lanes has a stun, then that's all you really need. So she really only needs 1 lane with 1 stun to be at least somewhat effective as a 4 position.
That is true, but I think more the merrier. Like
yes.
There's more play options, there are more kill options. Dota it becomes really hard if you can't farm out maps properly, and if there's a lot of kill threats from the other team, like a lot of like different variables, then it becomes that much more difficult.
I agree. These 2 teams are flying through the second, well, really this entire draft. This is the first time we've seen reserve time touched, and kind of expected if you consider Kuro and Heen. If there's 2 players that know how the other think, or 2 drafters rather, it's got to be these guys, as they work together for the better part of 2 years.
Pointing out that second phase ban, Sven ended up being banned out by Liquid, and TNC Predator respect banning that Templar assassin that we pretty much wrecked shop on in the game 1.
Yeah. It's a long time, but this is arguably the most critical part of the draft from the second pick position, the turn, as we like to call it, because you just ban into immediate pick. And I think this is also, this was a change. Wasn't it just after last TI that this swapped?
I feel like it had been longer than that.
It might have been. I don't know. You lose track, but it, I think, pushed second pick into the better position to draft from because you get this selection and then you also get last pick out of the phase. Of course, they go Rubik, one of your prototypical tied counters. Does mean their support duo. Really, their whole draft is very squishy at the moment. Liquid could be exploited by a number of heroes. Like anything with like high reach, you just get on top of the Lesh, on top of the Rubik. There's not really much you can do anymore.
Yeah, I agree. SD, Lesh, Rubik, both this trio of heroes, they're very squishy. So Liquid has to pick some frontliners on the next two heroes.
Yeah. You think of like a hero. I mean, it's not ideal for the game necessarily, but something like Ember, PA, you know, anything that can just get on top of Liquid, because you then have a setup stun if it's something like an Ember Spirit, and in addition you have Tide. So whenever you have this huge team fighter that's immobile, I like to see it combined with non-blink dagger required initiators so that you have some ability to create chaos and just let the fight develop so that you don't need to ravage to initiate.
That's why I really like this Rubik pick, because normally what I would have thought to fill the gap that you're asking for, why not a Tim's Earthshaker, right? Get an Aghanim Scepter on him, something like that. You don't need a Blink Dagger Initiator or anything like that, but Rubik famously so good at dealing with Earthshaker just because Stealing Fissure is one of the best spells in the game.
I'm surprised that Liquid have not addressed the Bat Rider with their second phase bans if they were going to go for this route. And Oracle immediately picked up by TNC Predator. This is something we've seen them use in the past. They're not afraid to take heroes like Huskar. Really, there's the plethora of options they could choose to just abuse this sustain combo. And now you have what will most likely be some super tanky hyper carry combined with the Tide Hunter. The team fight's going to be really difficult for Liquid to deal with.
I mean, TNC have had a tendency to go for Bristleback. That strikes your
love that. That's perfect, right? You just run straight for these squishy backliners. And what does Liquid's draft do right now against the Bristle?
I don't know. I think SD is pretty good against Bristle. I'm sorry to disagree, Kyle, but that's what I think. And I think.
How dare you, Febby? We're all supposed to be friends here.
I'm sorry. He's a bit outdated. You know, like I almost made it to. Yeah, he hasn't been on the qualifiers. Yada yada yada. But I think they're gonna be picking Juggernaut or PA instead of a Bristleback because SD just owns Bristleback. His second spell takes away half of his HP.
True.
He's got like Yeah,
but you just purge that off, and then he heals back 20% immediately.
Yeah. So specifically with the
synergy.
Oracle, yeah. So an Oracle kind of complicates that.
Febby, didn't we play against each other all the time back in the day? What was our record against Immortals?
all right. That's true.
Kyle, I remember your Shadow Demon also. I famously remember one Shadow Demon game of yours at a TI qual where you just refused to Shadow Poison in Disruption and people kept blinking out of the Disruption. Infuriating.
I don't remember that. Must have blocked it out.
Underlord picked up by Liquid.
Ooh. Damage reduction stacking strat.
This
all right.
is true.
You got the Fade Bolt, you got the Underlord Aura. Still, I think the Dream Bristle game, there is max HP damage from the Wave of Terror, but there's just I just don't see any like real damage to kill a Bristleback right now. And sure, you got the last pick, but I just think it's the perfect pick here. Maybe an Ursa, maybe a Huskar, some sort of beefy hero that just goes in.
Well, do you like that direction, Febby, or would you like more of the assassin direction that we've been seeing? We've seen a lot of these Phantom Assassin getting Aghanim Scepter or something like that. You don't necessarily need to stick around a long time, you just need to kill them really fast. But they're going to go for a Death Prophet, a hero that does like staying alive for a very long time.
Yeah, with the DP, I especially kind of agree with you because DP Tide, they're just too fatties. I think right now from TNC, they need something
quick and dirty.
Okay. Yeah, something like PA, Anti-Mage, like those type of assassin heroes.
I think they need a stun, guys. You're completely all in on your support duo right now to provide lockdown. And I'm always a bit concerned when I look at a draft and I see 3 cores that don't want to impact the other lanes in the early game. And sure, DP can rotate, pop ultimate, take towers, but you don't have this playmaking hero. So if Liquid get ahead early on and their supports have an advantage, all of a sudden it's just naked arrows flying out here and there. If they don't land, there's no kills happening on the map, and it's then difficult for TNC to capitalize on the teamfight edge, because you need the kill to then secure you the opportunity to push for an objective. You don't want to just be sitting 3 of 3 and just like blowing your spells and walking out of town.
I think TNC wants to pick something like Void or Jug to
Got banned. Liquid's one step ahead, unfortunately.
Okay, I didn't see that, but
the Jug is a good idea, though.
To complement their like 5-man, I think it's either that or they just want to go late game with anti-mage or PA, but they don't see enough information to pick those kind of assassin heroes. So,
can at least one of you justify this Underlord pick for me? Because to me, that seems like it's coming a little bit out of left field. You had initially mentioned the damage over time for Firestorm being highly effective against, I guess the Tidehunter is one specific hero, but is it really enough to pick an Underlord just for that situation?
I think it kind of fits the category of heroes that Liquid needed. If you look at the first 3 heroes, they needed a frontline of a beefy, fatty hero, slash a teamfight item getter and a teamfight hero.
The aura whores, as I like to call them.
Oh yeah, I guess I like that term. So I think that's the type of hero they.
TNC's lineups also, the first 3 were very low damage. In fact, they still have relatively low damage output, especially if the DP ultimate is on cooldown. Liquid have, I mean, well, depending on what they last pick, but just because of the Lesh and the Underlord, like there's so much, they just spam spells, and you're going to be able to out DPS the TNC draft. Still think Ember's a possibility here for TNC? Their tower pushes hand.
But I've heard Underlord was really great against. Bruiser, man, Kyle.
Woohoo! Don't give Kyle credit for that.
You were waiting. I saw your note.
Wow,
that was me.
So they're a bit.
Kyle, why is this hero good? Please tell me.
We already went into it. We're good. It's handled. If they weren't paying attention the first time, we don't get it. There's no repeats here. It's TI. You should be a fan. Last pick for Liquid, though. This is where things can get dicey because you need tower damage right now. You need something that does raw physical damage output. We've got to assume it's a miracle hero with the Leshrac for Wii. And
I think they can anti-mage for Liquid, and they can just hold on.
Yeah.
For leaking.
I like a hyper carry. I think that sounds good.
Whoa, fat! Guys, we were both right.
Woo!
Don't high-five each other until the camera comes back. Then we can get super hype. I don't even know if it will come back, but you called the anti-mage. Do you think that Liquid Miracle anti-mage, he's going to be able to 1v5, or what's the situation?
I mean, it has to be a 1v. I mean, Liquid, the other remaining 4 heroes have to play very well in order for anti-mage to come online. And I truly believe that SD is really good against the BB. So I think and we're gonna see that like at least once in the game.
I think it can go either way here, but it is a throwback to like that old vintage Liquid style where you have Miracle. It's a 1-4. It's going to be 4 heroes running around the map trying to make things happen, and Miracle at some point is going to be slotted enough to get a triple kill in some team fight, hopefully take the game. TNC, of course, want to prevent that. They got to take towers early and find big team fights before AM's online.
Well, let's see what the TNC draft justification is as we send it over to Casey, who's speaking to Heen.
Thank you. Yeah, Heen, I'm curious how it feels when you're drafting against your former team. Does it make it easier or harder?
I think there's a little bit of both because Liquid, since this tournament's begun, they've, started transforming. I think this series there aren't really any surprises.
What lessons did you take from the first game as you entered your second draft? I know you can't get into specifics. You don't want to give away your strategy, but...
I think we chilled too much in the game. And the lineup they used in that first game was something very similar to another one we used in Super Major. Just like Chen, Tusk, TA, Snowball. I don't know if there's anything I can do with the information that I know about Liquid. It's just more about us. This tournament's about us and us playing the lineups and the heroes that we feel confident in. Of course, we need to counterpick at times, but I think what it comes down to is playing well and having faith in what we're trying to build. And
staying focused and playing your own game. Heen, thank you so much.
Respectively. Kind of want to get your insight.
Back to you.
Thank you very much, Kate. In a game where there's a shadow deep.
think Shadow Demon is an incredibly good hero versus Bristleback, but I have to, unfortunately, agree, give a little bit of credit because there is the Oracle. That Fortune's End can be one of those things to always be able to dispel that Soul Catcher, and you can itemize for it as well. So we will probably see Gabby at some point in this game go for something like a Lotus Orb to make sure, something like that to make sure that he can always be sure to dispel that one off. But it's not always going to have a situation where you have Fortune's End up or you're in the right position to go for that Gabby. So that's where it can go a little bit of both ways. But yeah, Soul Catcher, very good ability versus Bristol. We have some other fun interactions, of course, too, with this Oracle versus Shadow Demon. There's a mixed between some teams how Shadow Demon, if you demonic purge the target that does get false promised, that target can't get healed by, you can't get healed by Urn, healing salve, your fated constantly gets purged as it constantly keeps applying that dispel. So we could see that come into play as well.
And what do you think about this last pick? The anti coming in, not necessarily a carry that sort of rings us a free win or a necessarily safe carry, but in the right circumstances, it could be pretty darn hard to deal with. Is this going to be a game where you can see Miracle popping off and getting that good Battle Fury timing?
I could, as long as they don't get run over. I think that's the one thing that TNC's draft can really start to take advantage is just steamrolling, getting towers pushed, Abby working himself running at lanes with the Death Prophet pushing towers constantly. Even Bristleback hits towers pretty hard. Once you get your Warpath stacks, you really do start to chunk those down. So it can be a little bit difficult, but you can see it possible. Anti-Mage somehow at PI always starts to come back, right? People are like, dead hero, battle, crap, not a good item, but somehow this hero slowly trickles back every single one of these trickles.
And one of those heroes as well that we've seen trickle into this game, but not into a lot, is that Underlord. Mind control. The other of this match, I feel this is a little underpicked. There's some aspects of this hero that seem incredibly strong, especially in that aura, right? And that's that bit of bonus as well. This hero turns into a bit of a right clicker down the loop.
He definitely does. And I mean, we saw, I remember we had one at the tournament that we had a mid Underlord, didn't we? And that just dominated the game, just took over. I think destroyed like a Templar assassin in the match. So I'm also surprised not to see this hero picked a little bit more too, especially with like Monkey Kings and Ursas being very, very scarcely picked. But we're gonna get to see it. And now they have another thing too. They have maybe that percent damage amped onto the Bristleback as well that they do have from that Underlord. So could be fun to watch. It's good to see if Liquid's able to actually rally around that one.
See how some of the lane matchups are going so far. That mid lane, Armo getting slight lead off the first few ways. Bottom lane, sure, it's going to go for the destruction, but TNC have got the 3 heroes ready to finish him as he comes back out of his bubble. First blood for TNC off the back of this aggressive tri-lane.
And they're getting themselves a very good matchup up top. This Bristleback versus the Underlord. Underlord just getting pushed completely back by Gabby for now.
Control just about a quill spray away from dying there.
Yep.
Got to be very, very, very careful as Gabby will head over, pick up the bottle from the side shop.
I like that actually a lot. You know, Bristol, he's making sure to spam so much that you pick up this bottle and it's just fine in this 1v1 matchup. You want to be sustained very nicely as Weehawk. They're committing forward here.
And going to look for the dive. They've got the hop from Ayu. Crips one burst and a right click. Is it enough? He's diving for the save. He's going to find him. Can he pop the Fable? Reducing Ayu's right click. Doesn't matter. He gets the second one in and will still find the kill. GH will chase. See if he can get his way out of this. He's got a little bit of a heal going. And again, another root. Holding back GH. He's certainly making him work for it.
Nice little play. He does have boots and a lift, so it should inevitably be an easy kill here.
It's popping the salve. That is a salve cancelled. It still continues to keep Ayu alive. Weehawk will come in though, and that will be a dead Oracle and also a healing salve. So a little bit of lost gold there for Ayu.
Weehawk gets the last hit though. That's the nice thing. But we see these lanes very dominant right now already from TNC, the way they have it set up. Anti-Mage is still farming though, which is the most important thing for Liquid. But yeah, these other 3 Gabby just really taking advantage of this top matchup versus mind control.
That's Bristol. So they're going to be able to start running down heroes very soon and even diving that top lane if mind control's not too careful.
Especially with Ayu up here right now, right? With Fortune's End, a couple goos, mind control definitely could get chased out. He has to be careful with his positioning on this Underlord.
Bottom lane Liquid just trying to keep the mana low on Cuckoo so the harass cannot be there against Miracle.
Yeah, keep a tri lane. And this is what you tend to see when there's an anti-mage in the game. That's what we were saying, top lane.
Have a bit of a shot here. He can TP. Yeah. But yeah, no hesitation there from Mind Control. Instantly knows he has to get himself out of that situation.
So other thing we gotta Shadow talked about a little bit, but the limited disable on TNC, right? That's why you can see why they put it. Not only just because there's a high intelligence hero like that Death Prophet on the side of TNC, but just look at the stun coming out for TNC. It is going to be pretty limited unless they go for something like an Atos, which they probably will on either the support Rana or somebody else. At least have silence as well for Armel, but their catch could be a little bit difficult in that mid-game if they allow Miracle to actually get away with game and get some farm going. But right now, it's looking really solid for them. This is exactly what TNC wants to do. Like Keen said in their interview too, they were a little bit too calm in that last game. I think this game, they're really going to turn up the heat.
Only these first 5 minutes is being cracked up. See if they can get themselves a hold of the 5-minute runes. See how they're going to get split up as both teams. They're going to try and prepare. TNC is looking a little more prepared, especially on top. They'll grab those two with the setup. See a swing round for the Rubik, looking towards bottom. In fact, a little too slow for them. It's TNC, we had to pick the 3. Still that one on their own half of the map, which won't be looked towards by Liquid, so they'll probably get all 4. One lane for Tims with the Starstorm. Kuro's got the big charges that will save him. Miracle's hunting at the trees for Cuckoo. Cuckoo with Jukes, trying to get himself out of there. Pops the stick charges, but that's only going to end up giving more mana for Miracle to burn. And Miracle doesn't even need to get the last hit in there. GH and Kuro beat down Cuckoo and get him out of the lane.
Like so hard to just secure Miracle. He's even picked up like a Wraith Band early on so he can have better lane positioning for that anti-mage too as top. We see these Goos start to build up, but they don't put it into the tower on that Firestorm. Level 3 Firestorm now already. And my control cover. I mean, he was having he still is having a tough matchup, but he's still 25-3. It's pretty decent for the Underlord in this matchup. There's still a bounty on bottom. I think Tim's actually walked by it. I don't think he bought his bottle from the secret shop too.
He should have.
I mean, he had a full bottle, so maybe he didn't want.
Okay.
But it's just going to be chilling there, so he'll be able to fill it back up when he's back up.
I just likely that it's going to go and scout that position. Mid lane, it's going to be where Liquid look towards. They need to help We Are out. He's suffering heavily. Jump with the 3 of them in the neighborhood that look for Armel. Armel still alive, tries to step the Cypher, but they will have the burst damage, bring him down. Tim's not there, or AU quite in time to help out Armel. A very important kill. Look at that CS in the middle. It was 35-16 against 24 for 4. Armel having a sizable advantage, and that kill opening up for some very early pressure onto TNC's tier 1 mid.
There's no glyph. That's a tower. They want to commit forward for it, but he is starting to drop low, and they will TP a couple more heroes forward.
They threaten TP from Gabby.
Yeah.
Hold off. As you say, a lot of damage done very early on in mid.
He'll get his bottle refilled by Armel TPing it, so he's going to be able to keep moving. Oh, they actually did not refill the bottle. Whoops. Armel did not have an inventory slot there for Tim's. Tims might have to back away and try to find a boundary rune if he doesn't know it's there.
Because it's still there.
It's still there.
Tims,
check it out.
Come on. There's money to be made. I'm sure he'll see on the way back towards bottom.
Yeah, and now another rotation bottom. We had this time. That's the easy setup and easy kill onto Cuckoo.
And no trouble killing a top when that track's in town.
SD Lesh. The reason we are seeing it. It's the majority of the games. Easy to set up kills constantly. Baroque even putting extra points in the Soul Catcher.
A bounty rune.
He's gonna get it.
Come on, Sims. There we go. Finally, oh, this is still it.
He shrined as well, too. He shrined and then he gets it.
Oh, Gabby. We'll get the kill on mind control. Always going to be one of those lanes where you have to watch out for that. This mind control Underlord very vulnerable to the armor reduction and chase of the Bristol back in lane.
Just the sheer right-click damage, right? That's what we're talking about with the Warpath. You get 15% faster and those 22 damage per stack. So plus 124 on Gabby when you stop.
Miracle starting to get the X6 into his inventory. Ring of Hell stun, so pressure will be kind of harder to put onto Miracle if it's just the giant alone. Already we see Miracle do a good job of getting CS. It's been slowed down a little bit by Cuckoo's presence. Tim's also hovering around in the area, but Miracle hitting the levels.
Yeah.
And he's hitting a good enough timing with those early items.
It's not on Gabby's level, of course, because Gabby's had to, he's been like stacking constantly. He had this super good matchup versus the Underlord, but still not too bad for Miracle. This is where TNC, though, this is still a great position for them. Like we've said, they have to keep this map and keep this game very aggressive.
On the hunt here for Tims. Scan for Liquid will confirm that Tims is still around as Tims
starts his TP.
And he's going to hide in the trees. Corrupt.
Gonna stare down.
We're going to look for him. So Tims will be... And I guess they almost only saw a TP start. He's going to jump out.
He's got one more leap. They're still stalking him.
That's the setup. We was already left. So it's just the two of them playing around with Tim. They'll slowly kill him.
They're gonna find him.
I know he's in there. I mean, they surely they know it's in there. They're sort of this way.
Oh, let's look at the mid lane.
That's it's a lot of time wasted. Get back hitting the creep. Miracle. Mid lane just finally get pushed down by Weehaw. And Tim's pulling.
That's some space right there for sure.
Yeah.
And I can still position him for some arrows too, position himself, but his lead is now back online too. So he can actually start doing something and have an impact on the map as well.
He's looking for an arrow, but that's the creep way of coming in.
He'll take it, 37 gold.
Hey, it's, it's accidental steal of the CS because was that me? Sorry, Cuckoo.
Support Marauders right there. Yeah, I didn't mean to
hit.
I didn't mean to, I swear.
I didn't mean to take that steal.
Oops, took another range creep.
No, just trying to hit the carry.
He's setting up deep vision. This is the protection board. This board that Kuroki sets up is the one where it's like we're gonna smoke or move like shadows from behind the tier 2 to try to kill Miracle, but we'll try to spot it out. It's an unexpected ward that early on, so it's a nice one that he is able to put down that TNC is not going to be aware of at all.
I'm not saying I'm getting this. All bounty winners going TNC's way once more.
Yeah,
they're making a lot of money from these bounties. Keeping themselves on this 2K gold lead, TNC.
It really is up to Weehaw to be the one to just like run around with his team to look to set up for those bounties, because Underlord and Anti-Mage, these heroes, they're not online. They're going to take such a long time to be able to really do any kind of impact in that fashion. As Mind Control, I mean, he's got his like phase stuff finished up, but it's going to be tough for him to really make moves around the map, because that's not really what an Underlord does. He just parks himself in front of a lane until he has more points in that hit.
Now Miracle having to be a little bit careful on that bottom lane as the ghost push comes in from up now, Kuro.
They're pushing two lanes at the same time right now with this creep.
This is the speed and pace that he wanted to see.
Yep. Like we said,
out from them, they've done TNC.
Yeah, they're playing the teammate strat. All you want to do is just keep the fight, close the map, restrict the map, and keep the aggression going. But Weehaw, he's also something sneaky. Look at that mid lane. He actually gets a full edict inside the tree line there, chunks the tower down 1,200 health. So they're doing a little bit of a trade, at least for themselves, but TNC pressuring 2 lanes like we were saying.
Won't quite find the tier 1 bottom, but they do get the tier 1 top. Gabby's farm is continuing to skyrocket ahead of any other core on the map right now.
And we see the item it's immediately queued up by him. Hood into first item Lotus Orb. He knows he needs to just address the Soul Catcher. Also very good for his teammates there. But mainly for himself, as he switches first now, he will buy the Medallion. That also has its great merits. You can just look the pressure and close the map up and then go to Roche. Gives you that Roche always what to go.
They'll finish that tower down bottom. And you know, as soon as Gabby took the tier 1 top, he moves himself to the bottom lane. He says, we can start being really aggressive with this power that he's built up. He's level 11. He knows there's not really much that Liquid can do to touch him right now.
He's going to be a little bit dodging around the map from Liquid for quite a while in this game.
Try the setup on mid. Kuro. It's going to be on a stun timing's hit with ease. Is found. GH. She finished off that kill, Kuro. Up to the high ground. Going to spot out Cuckoo. This is not a fight that we want to try and send, especially with Gabby around. Somebody put Kuro, but you will come out to hold Bristle back. Hey, sure. Like Kuro has to escape.
This is the trio. Like we said, Liquid. They're going to run around in 3, look to make kills. The other 2, they're just going to... Mind Control pretty much just going to be pushing out lanes for the majority of this. And Miracle's just trying to soak this space to get the battlefield at a decent time. So TNC, they have to keep this pressure going. They have to keep looking to make these moves onto the side of Liquid. And they will. They do not slow down at all in this game.
The next target is almost certainly going to be the middle. Getting ready to push around Gabby once more. Level 12. Gabby continues to farm up those stack. Those jungle camps to keep himself so far ahead. Same importance to be noted the way of Armel looking at the ecosystem. He's got it ready to push with once more. Gabby is by the side.
Has anyone actually queued up the Atos? It looks like Yules is going to be the choice here for both teams as well as Armel. So no Atos to go for that like extra catch. Of course, it's pretty easy to just click counterspell for it. For an anti-mage, got to be a little bit limited on their disables, but they still have those silences if they can find the AM in the side.
Yeah, I mean, no, that's very true, yeah. What against AM is... It's good against bad AMs, right?
Yeah.
Against good AMs, the chance that projectile's hitting in with that and pressing E is pretty slim. If you're able to sort of get it through a tree line or get it out of the AM's vision. Yeah, yours being that instant setup could certainly be what allows the DP to get on top of it with the silence.
Yeah, or just arrow connecting in, or
a lot of ways to time. And TNC's very, very strong with the execution, as we've seen many times. And at the jungle gap, Liquid's going to have a little bit of fun towards him. We're going to try and get him out, but the sentry got the vision. He's going to head over. Right, a bit of backup is going to allow turn. In fact, with Kumo as well, Mind Control's in trouble. They're straight on top of the Underlord. Armel kept just alive in time, but a false promise. He falls so low, but AU there able to save kind of both of his cores. Even the backup required for Gabby to go in, as well as allowing Armel to pop on the high ground. Excellent Oracle play.
35 HP. He was one hit from dying.
He had both of them. Oh. He had his eyes out from AU. Just making sure that nobody gets ignored on his team.
He's a platinum tier Oracle, right? He's got level like 20 Oracle.
He's saving everyone.
This guy plays his Oracle.
Radiant's mid.
Yeah, perfectly set up there to get that defense, and that will transition into another tower. And we're going to see map being constricted. That's the style TNC wants to play in this game. Keep running at Liquid as we see. They do not have damage for that Bristleback. Wow. Even when they had him isolated for quite a few seconds with that soul catcher, he still was able to be just fine.
See what we are. So he's got the damage to kill Tims in time. The jetpack will say no that he does, and the Pip tries to turn, does miss the arrow. Might not matter, and certainly doesn't if Kuku's willing to expend the Ravage like that. Puts it down straight away, and we are sneaking down through the Thames. Hello, everybody. Hope you're enjoying the stream. We love it. Back to the game, please. Thank you. Thank you.
Great set there. I think using Ravage in this game with the slow pace it is, just kill a core, right? Just Ravage a core. It's going to be worth it most of the time. Miracle is starting to get close to that Battle Fury, about 740 gold away from it. So they have to find him at least, that's the good thing. There's a silver lining there for Liquid, but look at the wrap. 6k gold advantage, all of us looking really, really comfortable with the game, how it's been going so far, and they're going to keep putting the pressure on. Even without Ravage, they will look to keep running at the side of Liquid. Exorcism's about to be up in about 30 seconds. It's already being prepped.
Let's see what they can do. This is excellent timing really across the board from TNC. I don't think they could have hoped for a start to this.
Yeah,
they're doing everything they needed to. They're making all the moves that are required. It's sort of on Liquid now to slow this all down. They're finding his action stuff in the jungle. Liquid looking towards Tims. They missed both of them. Tims is able to jump away a couple of times. He's going to try and do his best to keep him safe as he's out of vision, he's out of sight. Tims is out of the way. AU will get left behind for his attempt there to save Tims. But Tims will be eternal great play there, but he's purging off the dust, making sure he can get out with that invis.
That was really interesting too. He got the leap like mid-Underlord animation. He was actually booted after the leap.
That can happen.
That was actually pretty...
It's similar to the mechanic as the Sand King Burrow strike. Yeah. Once you've got that movement going, still in the area, so you can still be caught out by stuns and such, but your body will be propelled to safety.
Yeah. Keeps him alive, and they're keep looking to constrict that map. You see that Lotus Orb, that big item that Gabby wants in this game, is now picked up. So Soul Catcher, not going to be as much of an issue for us, at least. Yeah, looks like ultis are pretty much at ready. You can see they're waiting for at least that Death Prophet ulti to come back online before they put too much pressure. And we see Liquid. If you look at their wards in the map, that's how they're going to play. They're just like, oh, we're not, like, Chris, the river is not, don't cross the river. Miracle, you can blink past the river and maybe farm the jungle, but for the time being, crossing the river is a bit of a fearsome one. Weehaw wants to poke here. He's maybe trying to get some damage here on this bottom tower. And it looks like they're TNC. This is going to force the push instead of looking for another tower. Tier 2s are too far.
There's no, even if Liquid know that it's going on,
they cannot fight this.
They're not over here anytime.
No, this is pretty crazy for them to try to take this fight versus TNC.
Well, this is a free rush, free ages for TNC without a doubt.
Weehaw is taking good advantage of this though. They've identified him. They're doing rush. He's trying to get as much structural damage as possible. And a clip wave though, ensuring that he cannot actually push much further.
A little bit of action, see if he can find GH gap. Oh, he's going to be able to get the spot on him.
But the leaps
will allow GH to prance himself to safety.
TNC not even... Oh, they don't have wards. That's why. I was like, they're not actually putting any deep vision down to watch where the teammates is jungling right now. They've actually only placed rip wards as well. But we see from control that they've been able to have 6-6, but they've been very well moving around the map.
Thing set up there, perfect for Tims, with the disruption comes down from Kerr. We are safe, maybe even allow for a bit of turnaround. He's had a fantastic game so far, but getting caught massively out of position there on the front lines and between the members of Liquid, that's going to be a dead Oracle for 20 seconds.
And mind control, again, as we say, they try to take any types of opportunities where they can cross past that river and force the waves as far as possible from their base. So TNC has a harder time to make the move.
Arrow on arrow action here. GH is going to be the one that connects.
And look how long it lasts. Armel is now on.
That's a long time. I didn't. That wasn't even the max stone, right?
It was not.
Gotta watch out for those Rubik arrows buffed up by old arcane supremacy.
Yeah, you know, just a nice 9-second arrow or something could come out.
Is that the maths?
It's less than that.
Do the maths.
Okay.
It's less than that.
Like 7.5.
36% of 5 on top of 5.
Yeah, 7.
What's it? 7 seconds.
Full round.
Just simplify it for the viewers, you know.
Miracle, he's spotted. They're actually hunting for him this time. They have both heroes with the Yule Scepter possessed around here.
Oh, mid lane, what's going on? So a bit of cancel the TP there, I believe. Abby, see if we can find us up top. The drivers are Miracle. He's over to the camp. They know that he's gone for the lead. It's up here. A little far away. Can they get on top of him? And Arrow just fly through. That was actually anyway. So which is flowing through defensively in case anyone was trying to get on top of Miracle. But hey, they achieved what they wanted. Push him away, push onto the tower. Same time, they're getting objectives themselves. So you've got to watch out and be aware of this less pushing powers. We are, if that's tier 2 with the Alpha Mind Control, we're actually pushing up towards the base on bottom lane. So for as fast as TNC's playing, they're actually getting a lot of pressure brought back their way by this Seshra.
Yeah, pretty much like perfect moves we see, at least in response to that. The 3-4 heroes set up top of their game. We have opportunities to go for like the Ratto, to go for the split push that they need to do it so they can keep getting this farm. And my control pretty much has Solar Crest finished up, so upping up the AM, it's all about the incubase that they're going to be looking to throw everything onto Miracle. And now Miracle, we mentioned this could be problematic for him, you know, the Silas in particular. He almost has the Manta done. Have to be concerned for TNC. This AM is online.
With that Manta, Miracle, I mean, he only sort of dies if he makes mistakes. We have seen Miracle make some mistakes this TI, so, you know, don't write that off. It still happened. But as you, once he has the Manta, it should be a pretty free map for the AM to jump around and keep the farm up high. Obviously, there's still that danger of the pushes coming in and the AM being forced to retaliate to the aggression of TNC. For the most part, if the game stays at a state where we are able to push out these lanes and shove them out as far as he can to make sure that TNC cannot get this 5-man push together down a lane, space is going to be there for AM to jump around the map very safely.
Exactly. I mean, it's literally what they've been doing for the last, like, pretty much the whole game, right? Just mind control one lane, Weehaw on the other one, push it out as far as possible so TNT cannot group up and go for their game-ending play, which we could see them start to set up for here. BK finished for Armel. They do want to start really pressing an advantage, trying to get these tier 2s, because they're kicking away with a lot here in this game.
This should be, with the numbers that they have, a very quick kill onto Mind Control. Even Blood Ravage for this one. Mind Control found. Arrows out to Kura in the jungle as they'll get both of the pickoffs. Instant TP's up top and jump forward. Tims, he's got the setup for the Yules up onto the low turn with the Yules onto the tide, but AU's ready to chase. So's Tims. Try and purge up Tims to try and get that route. He won't be able to quite get on top of Weehaw. Arrow's actually going to miss with the cheeky sidestep, but TNC, they've got the numbers. 4 of them are up. Another Yule throws him up. Weehaw is surrounded, and they will deal with the push. That threat, that pressure we talked about, both the Underlord and the Lestra, they're now out of the game.
And now they're just looking to push down the lanes as much. Gabby was also chasing Miracle around, actually gooing him, and just keep chasing him when he was trying to cut the creep waves. So this is that timing. TNC have to make a lot happen. They cannot allow Anti-Mage to keep up this split push.
Mage Miracle, he is getting close, I'd say, to sort of being able to have a bit of a look into the fights, right? Especially once he has the Scardy, at least a component of it. He's going to have good stats to fight with at this stage. Aegis will now expand there, but they'll keep the push going, and a tier 2 tower in the mid will fall. TNT take another objective and hold on to that 4K lead.
Miracle is farming under vision here. And they actually try to get the setup. Tim's really trying to get some Yule's arrow set, but unable to. Miracle, he's gonna pass that #1 net worth pretty soon.
Yes, and he's at this point where there's 1 tier 2 left to be taken. There's no longer sort of that free money on the map for a push lineup like TNC. The high ground push That's going to be sort of the next level of difficulty for them. So no longer can they rely on those objectives to keep themselves sort of an item ahead across the course. The map's going to be open. Ain't going to get that far. Bottom lane, setups there. They'll catch out the six. Miracle gets himself involved. In fact, he's the one to get the last touch. Level 18 on Miracle, and he has the money for the first ult to solve into that Skadi.
Pretty traditional smoke that we see there, right? The smoke from your base to your carry. We see teams do that so often, trying to set up in case maybe Miracle's going to get ganked or something like that. They make sure to sweep the area, and now they can keep continuing to transition this into a push. Yeah, threatening always. TNC has to respond.
Do have all the ingredients for a good defense. Cuckoo's Ravage back up in there.
Look at Gabby's just running it through into all 5 heroes. He has no fear right now.
And they're having to get away from him as well. Liquid don't want to try and deal with this Bristleback just yet. At least when Liquid are being unnecessarily offensive. They know that they don't need to try and force it. They've just got to try and make sure TNC are the ones defensive.
They just got to dance around him, right? Pretty much in the fights as well. They're just going to have to dance around the Bristleback for a while because they don't have great solutions if he's not completely isolated. If he's completely isolated, sure, they can look for something, but...
Chase set up there. Look for Tim's. Timing's coming up from Weehan. That could allow Sims to get out with Moonlight. Sneak off in the shadows and Liquid can find the kill.
Okay. Look at him. He's really trying to get aggressive. They want to catch something here. You have the DP. They get the silence. This is so much physical damage that's coming in.
Yeah, Underlord just absolute shredded.
400 damage right now with this DD rune. The waves, though. Look at Liquid. There's creeps here, TNC.
Bottom lane's in, as you say, the mid lane. Even with no heroes in at the moment, Liquid had already had the momentum covered before that Underlord was chased down. TNC, the pushing is getting a lot harder for them as Liquid are more able to make sure the creeps are never in position for TNC to take their tempo to the next pace.
They want to go up here. They're just getting too much time to farm on the map. They really want to catch Weeha, but that's a boot to travel with a 15 movement speed, 30 movement speed as well. No way you're catching this Slash. Super speedy. Just continue to push in the side lanes. Now GH can do his own push too with the Starstorm. Team just clearing out those waves instantly. Definitely feeling concerned for TNC. This anti-mage.
Timing is falling down and sort of out of their control for TNC.
They're going to have to do a big miraculous push here with the Aegis and the cheese and just make sure that AM can actually fight directly into all 5 heroes, but they have to make sure that they can keep pushed in. They're unable to reduce. Oh, arrow.
Good little snipe of GH in the streets for Tim's. Tim, let's close the gap. GH is able to get out with the blink dagger. Oh, sorts of damage in on him in time to stop him from making that getaway.
Yeah, Tim's got a little spooked when he saw the AM illusion.
27 minutes in, 8-10. Definitely sort of the kills that, as that anti-mage, you're looking at the top and being very happy with the state of the game.
You look at anti-mage, 330 last, it's 1-0 and 2. He is getting a contested farm. He's just blinking around the map freely, and they're not able to get the ward coverage to actually watch him. We've been seeing TNC, they've been getting de-warded quite a lot. Kuroki, he actually got 2 of the recent wards, and he's been moving around the map all over the place, getting them. Just keeping it Miracle safe to farm up map and then just keep split pushing the side. So they have great reads on the map from how TNC wants to play. You know, TNC, it's tell how they want to be moving. Group up, going for the push all the time. So just keep split pushing. But that Roche, like we got the next thing, big on the menu for TNC. And still contesting fights, 5v5 fights from Liquid is still going to be quite difficult. When Exorcist was already popped and they have the front line BKBs are there to protect versus the Mana Burn or Armel, as well as, I believe, Gabby also bought a BKB. So I think just double BKB timing, get Aegis cheese, and game for TNC. I think they really want to force the issue here and try to end it before Miracle's able to do any more shenanigans.
Let's talk about this a bit. Well, he's just picked up a blink dagger on the armor, so he is just going full in on getting blink you'll set up.
Catch, yeah. That's all he's got to do. Catch, that is what it seems. They have to try to catch the split push somehow. Tim seems to be thinking this is best solution before something like a Hex, which is he just queues up immediately right afterwards. So they need other ways to catch this anti-mage. Like control. I'll get heat down here.
Back to being able to grab some of those objectives. Roche, cheese on Well, Aegis of Gabby in a dead Underlord. Playing Miracle.
That actually hits the real one.
But the setup with that stun. TP's coming in, but Miracle's already out to retreat. And will know the retreat. TNC. It's all about these next few minutes of gameplay. They've got to do something with this Aegis and Cheese. And we are fight for this year. It's on his own. Does kind of look for this sort of solo pick potential, but back up in town for Tim. Zay is around, and we are now. Just get out of there.
He's just way too speedy. With that blink dagger, they can't catch up to him. And also, he has BK. The full time BK being a TP out would be probably just easy for him to get away.
And he's pushed to
Really not letting him every time.
Yeah, they're just constantly the side lanes always pushed onto TNC's half of the map. So they can do this. They can go all in on the middle. But if it's not a massively successful siege attempt, they don't get to the racks. Mid lanes are going to start knocking at their own tier 3s.
Creep wave in the mid lane. This is what we were saying. This just be the PG push they're trying to do here. Exorcism pop. They got the Aghanim. Sees the Aegis. They have to get something taken down here for them.
Let's see what they get. One of the pluses of Dixie Tim's was able to cancel the TP of Weehaw. So Weehaw can't get that.
Weehaw cannot get back. They're both pushing.
And they're going through the back door production. Then they're actually getting that tier 3 tower. They won't quite. The rest of Liquid will be able to push them back.
They're getting 2 towers here.
Yeah, this is the problem.
Oh my god.
This is the problem, TNC. They weren't able to really get this push together early on, and now it's very vulnerable to these sort of routes occurring. Weehaw, he's out with the BKB TP. And the game now in a bit of a worrying state for TNC as the question has, it has to be asked, how TNC missed the timing?
It could feel like that at this point. They still have lots of damage they can deal and go down, but Miracle, how the hell are they going to kill this anti-mage? Now a full BKB finished as well. Uh-oh, TNC.
It says it's 50-50 on the win probability. I mean, I guess, Gaben still really sees that chance of TNC being able to run down mid and just, take it through, maybe even just going straight tier 4s and Ancients before he was able to react or take the side lanes. But you look at this anti-mage and you said, well, Miracle, he can go for the rat play. He can also turn up to the fight.
Yeah, he can start turning up to the fight for sure. It really does. It does feel like Liquid have the better control in the game so far here now. Even though TNC, they have Aegis and Cheese, they have to make something big happen. They're gonna try to keep forcing this issue. Right now, they're gonna be parking Gabby actually bottom, so they can have two lanes at least pushing in, so they don't have to worry about some split push where they lose their mid lane creep. They'll at least have a bottom wave too. But immediately, Liquid, they're not gonna allow them. They're gonna start trying to fight.
Straight in on mid onto Tim. Tim's is gone. We'll look towards Armel. Soulcatcher brings a little pot to BKB. The Miracle's on top of them. We'll put the G's. He's back up to full. He's trying to keep himself alive with the Spirit Siphons. Miracle's staying on top of the target. Is the end save for Armel. It's going to try and turn with the silent self-kill. Himself up in the air. Healing up the shutdown for Weehaw. BKB's out. Looks promise walking for Mel alive for a little bit, but the man is going to do serious amount of damage. Miracle staying on them. Rabbit comes out. Cuckoo. TNC looking to turn around. Flop. Now they'll get Weehaw. Can they get Miracle? He's too tanky and will be easier to flick back out the fight. Gabby, he's out of mana. He's still punching into Kuro. It's time to go home. Kuro's will come home tonight though. Will be mind control on his own, rifting away. Miracle straight back into the mid, keeping that pressure on. So the fact that Liquid have lost 2, in fact, he's nearly turning it out. Tim's a gap with him. Will finally fall. So they get the 3 kills, TNC. But as you see, they get the kills. The Tims have to buy back. The gold lead is still growing for Liquid. And again, look at those creep waves. Despite the fact that Team get killed 3, without their Death Prophet alive, it's very unlikely they're going to be able to do anything with this time.
Yeah, as soon as they're chasing GH, and Miracle's already blinking away, going for the creep waves. He knows the priority in this game. Just don't ever let them hit your base. And they're not really letting TNC get to that. We saw the Iascati coming into play there. We see why Miracle picked it up versus these BKBs that TNC were getting. He can just keep the chase on.
Oh, he can, and we saw he was just blinking into the high ground next to a Tiger. At this point, it doesn't really matter. The AM is out of control.
Yeah, he is absolutely out of control, and they do not have that straight physical damage to do. And sure, like, Bristleback can't deal that hard physical damage, but he's not something like you're, like, just physical here that just, like, really will just stick on him and kill him, like you see, like, the Lifesteers, the Basher, Slark, or something like that. Someone who can really just bring it to him. Yeah, Liquid now with a very good control of this game, and they're just keeping the lanes always pushed in.
So hard for TNC to make a play. Their lineup really was all drafted around those early pushes. They did a good job of taking over control of the map early on, but they couldn't quite shut down the Anti-Mage's farm. And now they have some huge problems to deal with.
Miracle just keep farming. That's all he really needs to do in this game. Keep farming. 2-0-3, almost 500 last hits at the 34-minute mark. And wants this game to go late for Liquid.
Every minute on that clock becomes more painful for TNC.
Now we start seeing the tick start happening, of course, in the Dota. It's really starting to feel that Anti-Mage's pressure up to a 62% from that 50-50. Once that Aegis and once Armel does die, the Aegis gets reclaimed, and they can using the cheese as well. Using it as well on top, so they've used pretty much everything, and they just keep the split push. We are now taking out shrines, it looks like. TNC just running around trying to catch pretty much anything. It's a game of cat and mouse, and Liquid really is just controlling the map way better.
Not being caught out either. Into trees, instant TPs down to the waves down bottom.
Miracle just keep blinking around, just really. Even when right now they're starting to have an idea of where he is, but he's again at you. Quickly has to glimmer himself.
Miracle just hitting the shrine alive.
Right in the middle of them.
What can they do? What can they do about this Anti-Mage?
He's got BKB.
He balked his aid. Do they have the damage? There's a disruption. Keep them time. Kuro, Miracle more than a chance to that BKB and get out of it. Kuro will die. Trying to set Miracle and of course succeeding.
That was, I mean, Kuroki's positioning there was phenomenal. They even saw him, and he's still able to get that perfect disruption. He's looking like he would have been brought down there from all that damage.
And there's also, you know, Armel did pop the Ghost in the hope that they would have the control to lock Miracle down. So Ghosts aren't going to be there for TNC to even think about making a play around.
And Ravage. They used both of their big long cooldown ultimates and weren't able to find this. Immediately when TNC starts splitting up, he finds an opportunity to kill. He doesn't have a TP available. He has BKB, so he will be able to just run away.
They just can't get a hold of any of these heroes, TNC.
No, they cannot.
Only the support's getting picked off in situations where they do not mind dying at level 25 on Anti-Mage. It's got that extra counter spell, magic resistance. So I don't know how TNC. This looks like an impossible game for TNC right now.
It really is. It's been feeling like quite a while now. Liquid just stressing split push. Constantly pushing those side lanes down the whole game. It really did feel like it was 36 or like 29 minutes where TNC had some like control running around the map, but Liquid just constantly pushing the sides. And you can tell they're probably feeling the same way. Probably like this Anti-Mage is just out of control. The Lumen Gloom. We always, I know a lot of pros, a lot of players have said it when you're playing like these Anti-Mages and Medusas and stuff, when they're just off the map the majority of the game, the back of your mind, you're just thinking about it constantly. You're like, that ticking time bomb.
I'm rising. Cuckoo. Let's put eyes on him. Miracle. He'll turn. Cuckoo has to pop the BKB and head back. Liquid, they've got the full team here ready to fight. This time they're not messing around, they're ready to start some action off. Abby will start to look for the lead in, gets himself on top of Kuro. Miracle locks down to Armel, they will lose Kuroki, but Miracle's going to start to pick apart the back line as jumps for the high ground for the check. Mind control, we are burning down Cuckoo. Gabby tried to commit for a kill with his BKBs on mind control.
Oh, this stop.
Teenage finish on the mind control can get himself out alive. Miracle and we are turned to get themselves on top of Gabby, beginning to turn down the mana. Miracle's over and look towards Tim. Down kills by some challenge, but Suzy's has got the ghosts, but there's already Tim's dead. AU as well. It's a buyback from Cuckoo. Can they get any kills out of this? They have found we will fall. So TNC are able to find a pretty big kill, taking the Leshrac out, but still
such a costly one. A buyback from Cuckoo.
Yeah, and Miracle's rare continues in this game where they cannot do anything about the Anti-Mage.
GH having a little bit of a showcase right there, having that Stone Ravage from her, but then also blinking and stealing the false miss. Some close little plays there from him, but Miracle just continuing to keep this push and keep himself in a great spot. Looking to pressure Gabby a little bit here. Can't kill him, but get rid of that move now.
And
how does TNC do it?
Is there any sort of item you can look at TNC's lineup and say, well, this combination could be, at least give them a chance of killing this AM? Because obviously once they do, it's going to be a lot of money. And hey, we've all seen those games where it looks seemingly impossible to lose. This AM free hasn't died. Dies once. Again, no buyback and game's over. Maybe that can happen. And that's obviously the situation TNC are trying to force onto Liquid.
Looking like a... He does have a BKB to prevent that mana burn. Fully defensive BKB. And back to the rush pit. We see Miracle go inside. No, there's no ghosts. The fight for TNC, their damage is not there at all if they try to take it to Liquid right now. Gabby will start poking himself toward the front line, but Gabby's a lot of mana. Only 300 on it.
Well, that's the thing. It loses a cent over, and
he's completely out of mana. There goes his dead. Onto Fuku also burns all of his mana, so 2 heroes on TNC have no spells.
They can't offer things to the fight. Mana is burnt. They're held outside. Demonic Purge being as well used to keep him outside of the pit. Don't allow the wall flow through. Won't make the connection. Miracle now to pick up the Aegis. 3-4 yards able to grab the cheese. They'll get Roshan, and they'll look to try and find some of these kills.
It's too much. The arrow connects onto Miracle. They're trying to disengage TNC, but they can't.
Just running into the 5 of them. An arrow does come out. BKB again, the mana gone. Gabby, there's nothing to fight for. They'll continue. Chase Miracles in onto AU. A false promise having to be used upon himself to get him out of there. They're very tanky, TNC. They don't die easily, but they're also not able to do anything easily at all. These heroes now the juice. This Miracles in. He sees a chance to follow up AU with a mana void, and arrow does go out again. Stolen arrow onto Tim. Arcane supremacy debuff increase. He has the chance to talk. Gabby's in, and as soon as he's in, the mana is out. Miracle is diving past it. Onto the support, running down AU, jumps for it again. It's a triple kill for Miracle. He's just slowly dismantling TNC and slowly doing his best to take them out of the tournament. Very KB popped. He's not going anywhere.
Still no fear. There we go. Now he's gonna give him some respect. Back up. But
he knows. I mean, it's 12K, 13K lead. There is no answer at all, as it seems, for this anti-mage. They'll set up an arrow.
Got this one here connected. He
has also has the blink. They won't even be able to touch that Aegis or get near to touching it.
They just have no damage for him all anymore. He's got the freest game in the world, it seems like, now on this anti-mage, which was the last pick by Liquid, seeming to play around it absolutely perfectly. Just keeping the game split push. 40-minute AM with top network by a long shot.
To the impurities.
And TNC, they're able to get themselves close to. They're closing in on a Hex from Armel. The Bloodborne's going to be the item that Gabby to get done for the team. They're looking for some of that single target lockdown, which may give them some sort of a shot of tackling Miracle.
They needed these quite a while ago. The Hex or the Abyssal Blade, some type of instant type of disable to look for Miracle to catch when he was doing this, but I mean, he's just at way too much critical mass here. This anti-mage.
Seemingly the perfect pick. You could definitely see and understand what TNC went for. We heard it from here. They wanted to play this pace, and this is what's sort of the risk of running this sort of lineup here on the main stage. If you are unable to get the job done by a certain point, things just grind to a complete stop for your lineup.
Yeah, you really are starting to understand why they went for the Underlord as well, right? Just to constantly split push the side. That's what we've seen that hero used for quite a while. Defend towers and then just park yourself, just push out lanes constantly and just get to the other side of the map. And that's been the name of the game for Liquid. Push lanes. I know Will is probably in the back like, shove lanes, yes. Like, it really is just the definition of this one entirely for Liquid, just keeping past the river after that early game. Now, they've got a Hex picked up, the blink in the Hex on Armel. See if it can catch Liquid off guard. They're all grouped together.
I mean, that AM kill will be worth a hefty penny.
As long as they can bring it down. He's 28 armor and he's at 70% magic resistance. So can they actually have the damage? Ghosts with everything committed, if they can get the chain locked down, that could be one of the options. But besides without...
They've got to do it twice.
Yeah, without like Death Prophet Ghosts, it seems pretty unlikely. It's Miracle. 0 damage from that Pure Pulse Flames. And they're just going to get the push going.
He's just in the racks.
Yep. Ghosts are popped. The Hex, it gets Lotus Orb.
It does. He's going to self... out.
And DH been stealing Exorcism as well in the backline. He did.
Oh, he did.
Miracle, gonna get stunned up a little bit, but he's just keeping himself shown there for a second, then backs up. But that's what we see. The Ghosts, they have the damage, but can they actually get the cast? Miracle, he's flicking away. GH has the Ghosts ready to use. He also has the Refresher Shard on.
Oh, okay. Double Exorcism.
If only they snapped.
Indeed, but just having the durations for Miracle again, more than enough time to blink out and away from them. Armel's starting to fall low.
Just to the illusions.
He'll get himself up a little bit of heal. Well, a lot of bit of heal from the Ghost returning. What's promised being used by A to try and get him out. Back to second. He's just running straight into the midst of the ball. The BKB popped up towards the base. Forcing them, find them back towards their tier 4. No, we are done full. They're able to kill the Lesh. Anti-Ring to the high ground on top of Armel. Fresh jump forces up to the high ground. It has that Ravage ready to play with. Armel is dead, but how far back is dead as well. GH is in. So Ravage out for the 3 of them. They'll lift up the Bristleback, slip them back down. Gabby's out of the game. Miracle's moving in. There'll be a buyback from Gabby. Miracle held back by the Eels, but we are just runs down Tim's. Tim's dead for nearly 2 minutes. Liquid cleaning up another set of racks. There is no home and seemingly no chance for TNC to turn this one round right now. Gabby, as he'll step forward, back out. Miracle finishes him off, godlike on the anti-mage. GG. And there we have it. They'll shut themselves out of this. GG is called. TNC are out of the competition. And Liquid with this game 2 victory 2-0.
Series from Liquid, bringing it back, making it look like, I mean, the group stage we saw from them, they had some tough